Call the meeting back to order. There were no decisions made in the executive session.
I have nothing further.
Thank you, Leslie.
I guess that brings us to Mr. Scott here.
Keith and Cinda dropped off the income and spending for 2020 of the St. Francis Senior Center for you guys to look over.
Utilities seem pretty high, don't they?
They sure do seem high.
Well, their rent's down for this year.
I believe I think the 11th they went back to eating down there, so in person.
But even like, meetings and
Oh yeah.
they only brought in 125 in rent. I bet they brought in way more than that.
Oh yeah, I imagine. Okay, and then I've received an email from Developmental Services of Northwest Kansas. They are applying for community service tax credits, and they're asking you to send a letter of support so that they can send in to apply for these. And I've written a letter if you want it changed, if you want to sign it, if anything needs to be changed, you just let me know.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
Good.
Doing good. You catching up?
What's that?
You catching up down there?
Yeah, we're making some progress.
I'm gonna be gone for a few weeks. When we get back, we'll probably make a trip to Atwood and then talk more about that building.
Okay. We can do that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. But I feel you have plenty on your plate.
It has been something else.
That's good.
How have you been?
Great one's rain, it's better.
You okay with that?
Yep, I'm okay with
Maybe over there, could be fine, I want to shoot, 700 comes up. Just get on the inside,
We need a motion for that.
This isn't the one that owes us tax money, is it?
No,
And we need to try and keep whatever services we can in this area for kiddos, because we are so limited on children in need.
They're not asking for any money right
Yeah,
now, it's just a letter of
just
support.
So you can get a tax credit, correct?
Have 2020 recycling information that the city sent to us. And I'll tell you what we've, tonnage and what we spent last year.
Could I get a copy of this afterwards for the...
So we hauled 186 ton to Colby.
I think that's between both cities.
Yeah.
Roger's gonna come in today and talk to us about what we decided at our last meeting, which was last Thursday.
The only thing else is old business. I think that's why Rod's here.
Yeah. I didn't know whether I needed to come or not, but Willie was kind enough. He said, "Hey, they're on the deal." So I said, "Well, I'll come then." Is there any more questions on what we was trying to do?
I believe there's enough money in there. It's kind of hard to tell at this point, but what Dolores says and what I see in there is two different things, but there is enough money to cover what they want to do.
And what was that? That we were at?
1725, 750 flags. It's broken down. You need to look that over again.
I'm not in favor of it. Our county fairgrounds needs work. That's where we put the money last time. They run on a very low budget. That's where I want to put it again if we're going to do it.
Yeah, we talked about it. We were gonna see if we had, how much we had in there. So, you're not in favor of them, are you? I personally am. I think some of the monies could go to this, even if it's not the whole 1,700.
Where is it gonna come out of, Scott?
It's the special drug and alcohol.
Okay, and what do we usually pull out for the fair down here?
Well, it had been building up over the years, and it was just like, I don't know, 2 years ago, we put it into the county budget, or the budget down at the fairgrounds, just because they run on such a tight budget, taking care of the buildings and running the fair.
The treasurer's saying there's $5,491.61 in there. And when I show in our CIC system, there's $4,912.12.
Well, I kind of think we need to support both, but I know we don't.
That's my feelings is we should support both,
Both what?
The fair end.
fair and,
The Thresher stuff.
Okay, you got the votes, go.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve 1725 for the Thresher Show.
and I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. We'll do how to do, let's do them proud, I think it'll make nice. It's every year, so it's not just a 1 year thing. They'll be up for a long time.
Can I have that copy?
Yeah,
We'll get a check.
all righty. Thank you.
Did you need a break?
I'll do it.
I'm gonna get some coffee. Roger, you need one?
How are you, Rance?
Doing good, doing good. I'm enjoying this rain, I'll tell you that.
Must be part farmer then.
What's that?
It must be part farmer.
Yeah. Got a little bit of it in me. How are you guys doing? Good.
Oh, good. Brett's getting a cup of coffee, and then you could come on up or stay there. Okay, Rance.
Alrighty, not a whole lot to report to you guys. Our COVID numbers continue to be low. We're very thankful for that, both testing in the clinic and any positive results. They're really low right now. Hope that trend continues. The vaccines going out, the COVID vaccines, we continue to do that weekly. And at this point, we have given over 700, and there's more scheduled this week. So that's just going to be an ongoing process for a while, it looks like. But they got a good process in place over there in county health, and doing a good job of getting people through there and getting their vaccines. So looking good there. Staffing wise at the hospital and clinic, we're doing well. There for a few months we were hit with employees down with COVID or having to be isolated, and right now it looks like we've got everybody back, and things are going well with our staffing. We've got a major capital equipment project that we're taking on right now. Our CT machine started giving us some issues, some problems, and so we're looking at replacing it with an upgraded model. And with that new model, we're looking at several different companies right now, getting bids from different companies. But with whatever we go with, we should be able to do some procedures we hadn't been able to do in the past with our CT. So we're looking forward to that. But it is a pretty good capital expense for us right now. Then about the only other thing I have is we've got our spring health fair scheduled. That will be April 20th and 21st at the hospital, not at the clinic. It'll be at the hospital like our last one was. But April 20th and 21st, and then April 22nd, we'll be doing it in the clinic at Bird City. So that's about my report. Any questions for me?
I don't have any questions. You guys,
Thank you, guys.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Rance.
Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Guess that'll bring us to Sherry White.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Some of you may recall I was here about a year ago this time talking to you about a new addiction recovery services agency that we're opening in Colby. And I'm here to kind of give you an update and, of course, to request the same $11,000 that I was asking for last year. We've raised enough money that we have been able to purchase all the equipment that we needed, like the computers, the copier, the phone system, and then all the furniture for a staff of 6. And then we also have put together a chapel room and a meditation garden room. So we're finally officially open after almost 2 years. We were pretty set to go last spring, and then, of course, COVID came, so we decided to hold off. But we did rent space last November, so we are officially open now. I guess I should point out we are the only licensed, I don't know if you guys got notified over here or not, we're the only legally licensed facility for addiction treatment in our 5. Our service delivery are the 9 far northwest counties. Let's spit it out here. The one that is over in Colby is not operating under a legal license. She has her personal license, but she doesn't have her facility license. So it's kind of like if you are a nurse working at the hospital and you decide you want to go out on your own, you can't just go out on your own. You have to work underneath a legally licensed umbrella, so to speak. So right now we are the only legally licensed one in Northwest Kansas. The next closest place is Hayes. So that kind of gives you an update where we're at. One thing, because of COVID, we all have heard a bazillion times on the news how mental health is really taking its toll, and Northwest Kansas is not any different. And so we've recognized that. We've also expanded our services to include not only the certified peer mentoring, but also it's called a certified peer specialist, and that person can work with other mental health issues besides just addiction. They can work with depression, PTSD, anxiety, grief, those kind of things. So we're not going to be just for addiction. It'll be for other things as well. Of course, we're located in Colby, but our service delivery area covers those 9 counties, which is why I'm reaching out to you guys. We've raised enough money on privately and through our local, there's different grants, like through some of the community foundation grants. Your local community foundation did give us a grant. We also got it from several of the other communities. So that's kind of where we've kind of raised our money. We got a little bit from the Walmart Foundation and Midwest Energy Grant and a few other big corporate ones. So, but at this point, right now where we're at is we're open and we're providing services. That our services do not cost anything out of pocket. And that's where our donations come in. We know for this specific clientele, a lot of them float from job to job to job because they're unable to maintain a position because of their criminal records. They're not really able to, not always, but a lot of times they're not able to get into those positions to even offer those health benefits to them. So we know that a lot of them are uninsured, which means, of course, it comes out of pocket. So a lot of them have not been able to have access to treatment because of finances. So that's kind of where I'm at here is to ask you guys for the $11,000 to help us sustain us till we get up and going. We have several different funding streams that we are applying to, but it's one of those things like everything else in this whole process is you got to do this, but you got to do this first. And that's where we're at right now. We have enough to stay sustained for a little bit, but we're going to need more for this whole process in order to get those funding streams in place. We will be able, once those come through, then we'll be okay and be ready to go. But what I'm asking for is money from the Special Alcohol Tax Fund, which is Kansas statute. That's what those monies are supposed to be used for. I know you guys probably don't have that full amount in your, so part of that may have to come from a different fund. I don't know.
Does this have to go on our budget time?
Yes.
I wasn't here for budget.
Yeah, and then we do our budget when?
We start working on it in June.
Yeah, 'cause
So I was here last year and requesting that, and you guys told me to come back in March, so that's why.
Right, that's because we start the process. People start looking at their budgets because we start actually doing budget sheets come June.
So that wasn't done last June after I was here in the spring? That's what I was told was going to happen. I'm just asking.
yeah,
Because I was here last spring and you said the same thing. You were going to look at the budgets for June.
I was here, but I don't recall what we.
Well, you were probably misinformed because you have to do the paperwork.
Well, no, not necessarily. She's here making a request, and so what we do is we take note that Sherry is here requesting $11,000 from primarily Special Alcohol Tax.
Yeah, wherever
Fund.
you guys have it, but
And
that's,
then you
Is that the
can
fund we
look,
just went through?
yes. And then you can look at possibly another appropriation from some other fund if it's approved by the auditors. So we need to make a note of that so that when it does come budget time, that is reviewed to see if it will fit in with the budgetary scheme.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't review it or the last time, but
oops.
if that's the rule.
So those funds that are sitting there, that's what those funds are supposed to be for. Are they not there anymore? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're not saying that. What we're saying is that the paperwork has to be done now, I guess now.
Well,
And then
what
we-
she's asking is, why aren't you giving me money from the Special Alcohol Tax Fund right now? The question is one balance is saying 57, one balance is saying 49, and they just spent 17. So we're trying to ascertain how much is still in that fund.
So the 17, I wasn't here for your whole meeting. I don't know if that happened today or what. Does that, I mean, those funds are supposed to go for treatment and stuff, so it didn't go.
You can
unless
go
it
to
went
treatment or recreation. There are two.
So we got to figure out what's in the account, it sounds like.
Well, according to the statute, I brought the statute if you guys want to look at it, but it's supposed to go for treatment for drug and alcohol addictions. it's a 2-page thing, so I don't know. I mean, it's,
Do we give this money out of our budget too, out of our main budget?
Well, with the amount that she is asking, there's not enough in this fund to cover that request. So that's why there would be a budgetary aspect to it.
What did the local foundation give for some? Just a quick question.
I believe it was $3,000.
Okay.
We got them from several different ones, but I
Gotcha.
think yours was 3,000. I don't know if it helps you guys, if you guys want to make a copy of it, but here's the statute. I mean, it says monies in the Special Alcohol and Drug Program Fund shall be expended only for the purchase, establishment, maintenance, or expansion of services or programs whose principal purpose is alcoholism and drug abuse prevention and education, alcohol and drug detoxification, intervention in alcohol and drug abuse, or treatment of services who are alcoholics or drug abusers or in danger of becoming alcoholics or drug abusers.
Okay.
I'd have to review the whole statute because it is quite lengthy. But we had looked into this before.
It's 2.5 pages long. So if you, I don't know if you want a copy of this or
Yeah,
if that would help you.
Maybe.
But I mean, even if you don't have the full 11,000, anything that you guys can put towards it would be great. We will be coming to your county to provide services. So like if somebody is in jail and they need a drug and alcohol evaluation in order for the judge to let them out on bond, we can do that. Our services, we provide services for not only the alcoholic or the drug addict, but also for their families and then in the communities. So we can do community presentations to schools, churches, clubs, organizations, that kind of thing regarding substance abuse. And then the families, we have all different kinds of advocacy services, pattern changing classes. We're teaching the COG classes for corrections. The college isn't going to be doing them anymore. We'll be doing the COG classes. So.
Could we do this? Could we table it until our next meeting so we can find out how much we have and how much we can give?
Yes,
If we decide,
sure can.
Okay.
and then
I can leave you guys with.
you could probably, maybe Scott in our office could make a copy of
Copy of the
that.
statute.
Sure. And I will give you guys each one of these. Do you want one?
Sure, thank you.
Yep. And I'll leave one here for him too.
Because I can agree with you, this is very important that we have that.
Well, it's just right now with the mental health crisis that's going on, now is not the time to pull funding from mental health issues. I don't know if you guys want copies of all this, but this is to show that we are legal in the state of Kansas. This has
You can-
like,
you can ask Scott
Yep.
which one we need. We need a copy
Copy of
of this
this.
for the attorney.
I tried to make it as easy on it as possible. Were you guys officially notified over here?
I thought that she was working on it.
I don't
What
know.
I heard is that she's working on getting the facility
It takes a
licensed.
long time. We just went through that. It took us almost 6 months.
Did you want to look at
It's a long, arduous deal.
You know more about
That
that.
facility wasn't receiving state funding, and so.
She was
they
getting
were-
special alcohol tax dollars, though. I know for sure she's been getting them from Sherman County and Thomas County and Logan County, and probably, I don't know where else, but
Yeah,
It's
we weren't
not-
notified. I'm going to say that we weren't officially notified because the commissioners haven't given any money. So,
but like you didn't receive information from the state letting you know about it?
no.
No. The way I found out, and I have the email here, is because we are licensed, there's so many like referrals back and forth. And so the state is on who notified us, telling us that we can't accept any assessments from her or any of that kind of thing. That's how I found out about it. I can leave those with you guys. Those are your guys's. I mean, there's only one set of them, but there's quite a few. I didn't know if you guys would want that or not.
I guess it was, I think the only one really needed was the attorney, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you make one for everybody?
Made one for everybody.
That's okay, thanks.
Okay.
Other than that, I haven't.
Thanks, Scott.
If you guys have any questions for me, I don't know.
No, I know what you're doing, and I know it's something that we really do need. It's just,
I know,
the money
everybody
thing.
has the, yeah. Well, the good news is the majority of it is already there from the special alcohol tax funds. You know what I mean? Because she said that what was it, 4,900 or 5,900 is what you guys are trying to figure out?
Right.
So almost half of it is there that you know of. So even that would be very helpful for us. Where we're at right now is we had to apply for a thing called an NPI number. It's like your national provider number in order to go be able to bill.
Yeah.
And that took us probably 3 months just waiting on that.
How can you do that as a 501c3 though, Bill? Because it's nonprofit.
Well, nonprofit just means that you're not like making money. We
Okay.
still can bill.
Bill, okay.
Yeah, we're just not. We're not making big bucks doing it, and
gotcha.
we're not, buying new buildings. And I mean,
Okay.
yeah. But we just got our MPI number last week, and so now we'll start, applying for the funding through Senate Bill 123, and which will be anybody who's on corrections. When they meet the certain criteria, we can bill directly to them. We're estimating probably 70% of our clients will come from Senate Bill 123, and then there's Senate Bill 6, which is anybody who's had 3 or more DUIs. Then there's a special program for them, so we'll be able to bill for that too. And then we'll be applying for the Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, to become providers with them. We have to make a special request. The SUDS grant, the substance abuse grant for the indigent people or people with no insurance, that program is a closed program. And so what that means is the state years ago looked at who they had and tried to spread those facilities around the state. There hasn't been anybody in Northwest Kansas since that was created. They couldn't give me how long ago, but it's been years and years. So they suggested that we make a formal request to be added to that so that we can have a provider in Northwest Kansas. So that's on my list to do this afternoon. But hopefully, if we can get approved to get back in there, then that will help us also. So that'll give us the Senate Bill 123, the Senate Bill 6, the Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, then the SUDS grant, and then the Special Alcohol Tax Fund. And then, of course, we get the private donations that have been coming in. But, those, they only last so long when you're not having to, when somebody doesn't have the money to pay for their services. Right. We still have to do it. We'll have 6 full-time staff once we're up and fully funded.
Okay, Sherry, I want to correct something. We are a population of under 6,000, and so the distribution of those monies is different than like Thomas County and Sherman County.
Sure.
Because in those counties, it's divided in 3 separate funds. And here it's only divided into 2, and one is into the general and one is into a Parks and Recreation. There is not a special alcohol drug treatment fund in Cheyenne County because we are under 6,000.
When I called around, they told me that you guys had, back when I originally started this.
We have the alcohol liquor fund. There is a tax, but the way in which that tax is actually divvied up is different for populations of over 6,000 and populations under 6,000. But we definitely can get it on the radar so that when we'll take a look at what is in that fund and we'll double check what specifically it can be used because of the nature of the division of those funds. But also we can get it on the budget requests so that when the budget is being reviewed, if there are funds sufficient for what the commissioners would like to donate, if they want to donate, then it can be looked into as an appropriation. Okay?
So where's the cutoff on, you said that it's because your county population is under 6,000? So where's that line? Why do some counties have 3 funds and not 2?
The 6,000, the population.
So it's just the magic number of 6,000?
That's what the statute says.
Yeah, we were asking for more from Thomas and Sherman County, if that helps you, if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, but I wanted to clarify that because, we had looked into this before and you were saying that we could only use it for your program, and it's like, no, we're different. We're under 6,000, but I needed to look at this. So it's handled a little differently.
See, and everybody who you talk to around the state has a different interpretation on that, because I've talked directly to the state, I've talked to the Sentencing Commission. I mean, I've talked to just so many different people, and everybody has their own little caveat on how they interpret all of that. So I do know that there is a special line in there that says that they can actually put it towards something totally different if it's a unanimous vote among the commissioners. So, I mean, there is that caveat too. But in theory, what the spirit of the Senate bill was meant for was for treatment.
Okay.
Or at least that's what that's what the attorneys are telling me anyway. So, anyway, do you guys have any more questions for me?
I don't.
No, I don't have anything.
Do you need me to come back to the next meeting in case you have any other questions?
I really don't think you'd have to come back
Okay.
unless you want to, it's.
I will come if you think I need to be here, but if you're not thinking I need to come back to answer any more questions.
Save you some time, but I really don't think you have to be here, right?
No, I think we've got all the information needing, including the documentation in regards to licensure, that we should be good.
Yep. Okie doke. Well, thank you for letting me come and speak to you. And then I was going to give you this one, just so you'd have your own copy of that. Oh, do you guys not want to keep these?
No.
Okay.
Just making sure the credentialing's good.
They
so.
are credentialed. Months and months later, we're not officially credentialed.
Okay, well, I guess that brings us to the Lawn Ridge Road. Great. Is that taking this year?
I'm going to be pretty brief. Dave was gracious enough to talk to me the other day before they got started, and they actually worked on the road between the time I scheduled my appointment and now. Sadly, I think we're all in the same position. I mean, we're all in agreement. I think we all got our fingers crossed and are hoping that it works. I was hoping when I talked to Dave to find a recipe, something that I could find in print, some sort of science, some sort of soils engineer that said 1 part of caliche for 5 parts of recycled asphalt and 18% moisture and this much compaction and la. But I think we got, I talked to a guy that said that we hope this works. But so we're all hoping right now, hey, with this rain, I was a little nervous because caliche I was disappointed that I did call dispatch the night they dumped the caliche. We got some rain. Caliche gets extremely slick when it's wet. I thought it was kind of dangerous. I said, you got maintainers parked beside the road. But that's a separate deal. I mean, we all tried. Funds are limited. The road has sucked since we started this project. Everybody knows that. We're all hoping. We're all hoping. If it doesn't work this time, I hope next time we have a recipe. Y'all get tired of it with the mass and everything. Follow the science, whatever, but talk to a soils engineer. Do something. That's all I really have. Like I said, I'm hopeful. I assume, I let them take down my fence, I assume they're going to put it back up at some point.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be, better than it was. Yeah. So, thanks. I mean, I hope it works. That's all I have. I mean,
Pretty solid now.
It seems to be. I mean, I think we've 3 times we've invested pretty heavily on that road, bringing in material and it's always held up for a week or two. So the verdict's out, but every indication that I see is we probably are in better shape this time than we have been in the past. I think it's deteriorated fairly quickly. This rain, obviously is different. I think we're probably going to lose all these pastures. I think they're going to go into shock from this rain. I don't think they've seen a rain like this for 20 years, but that's a different story. And the roads don't know either. But I mean, I was skeptical when I saw all this rain. I thought, wow, depending on how much the caliche content is and what's going on. It may be slick surface. And we noticed it a little bit coming in last night. We, you know, after they had a lot of rain, I had 3.5 inches. We went to Hayes yesterday, and before we left, I had 3.5 inches. And hey, you know what? The road was crowned. It shed the moisture. It wasn't slick. The imprints from the tires or the sheep's foot or whatever they used on it are still intact, which tells me that, you know, it's well compacted. Yeah, like I said, hopefully it holds. I mean, I think we're all hoping. I wish we were doing it from a position of knowledge as opposed to hearsay, so to speak. But yeah, I think it looks like we might have it.
They
And I hope
worked
we do.
on, what was that, probably 2 miles,
It's a mile and a half.
mile and a half. And they worked one day on about a quarter of a mile there. And then the next day you tried to get everything done before the rains because we knew it was coming. And that last mile is not compacted as well. They didn't get, you run out of time.
On your stretch.
Yeah,
On the river,
yeah. But the first quarter is good.
First quarter's great.
So you could just tell that you just didn't have time.
So you've done this on the river road as well, same.
Yeah.
Well, after we got down there, we went to Range Line, Road 11, and did that from the asphalt south to Road I.
Okay.
Yeah, but
last
there's
time
no
we-
asphalt millings in it.
What's that?
I said, there's no asphalt millings in it.
No.
Okay.
This is just pure.
Okay.
Compaction.
Well, like I said, I mean, it appears to be holding, and I think we've all got our fingers crossed. My comment would be, if it doesn't hold up, talk to somebody next time. You know, let's make a plan that everybody can follow along, and that'd be my suggestion. I know it costs money and all of that, but this does too, and it has been miserable for the people that can't avoid it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Roger,
Yes, sir.
you're up.
Well, I'm here to kind of bring you up to date, back up from Willie on the recycling. I got some little disturbing news Friday afternoon. I haven't told Willie this. The one proposal that we had from Sunoco, our current vendor, is kind of backing out on taking our sorted plastic and paper and stuff. He said he just, number one, he doesn't like to haul a bunch of air because they'll be in boxes. And number two, he said he's got 8 van loads sitting over it. See, what he does with the recyclable stuff, plastic, glass, tin cans and stuff, they take that over to this Waste Connections, which is Stutzman's, one of, I don't know if you remember that name, but it's the single stream people. But they're not, they won't unload him. He's got 8 vans sitting over there, and they invest all their time in a single stream, dumping it on the floor, and if they get time, he said they have to come over and they haul it clear across the facility, and pop the bands on the bales that we've been like what we send down from Colby. And so he's kind of backing out on the offer that he'd given me originally. But he does want our cardboard. And if we can, bale chipboard. And, because that goes to their paper mill down there. And I'd like that. I think Rawlins County is thinking of doing that, sending it down there. I'm pretty sure they are, and to some extent Decatur County. But I wish I had a better proposal to bring you today. But I got to get in touch with Waste Connections and see exactly what they will take, if they'll take it. I hope we because originally we kind of talked about that. It's not ideal having to mingle it and put it in a compactor trailer and haul it down there, but the mileage is the same, $2 each way of what Hutchison was offering us and what I think Hills had offered up for getting the other recyclables. The cardboard, they will come up and pick it up themselves. They bring a flatbed up, there's a little forklift on the back, and they'll load it themselves. Plus, we get to keep the balers.
So basically what we're getting into probably doing is a bit of a hybrid. We was looking at doing all clean recycling to Sunoco at this point where they want the chipboard and the cardboard and we can keep that equipment. It makes sense to try that before we do anything else because we already have that equipment. So all we're really looking at is talking with the landfill as far as the glass and paper products, which would probably go out there. I think they're a benefit, right, to the dump. And then the rest
shredded paper.
Shredded paper, yeah. And then the rest of the product is, call it what it is, disposal to Hutchison, to Stutzman. We just don't have another choice at this point. In doing that, I think I definitely want to check into Colby. They use their own compaction truck. Personally, from running the recycle center, I'm not interested in having a dumpster outside, but we try to compact with a loader. I think it's a trash attractant kind of thing, plus you're just mixing it all right there. I don't like that idea, so I'd like to check with Colby as far as how they do that. I think they make 11 trips a year with their stuff to Stutzman with their own trash truck. The city currently has a trash truck. It's a 2004. It's got 99,000 miles on it. It's got quite a bit in it yet. I think that might be able to run us for a little while, but it's probably smaller than what Colby is using. So we still have questions to get answered, but I think we want to get to sooner rather than later. We know what's happening in Colby. I'd like to get us cut off sooner rather than later so we can then kind of press them to get those assets liquidated and the county their money for what that is. That's what I think we should be doing.
Roger, could you let the rest of the commissioners know as to what we had decided on?
Right. We're going to cut off collections in Colby at the end of May, correct?
Right.
Yeah. And then hopefully by the end of July, we shut clear down. We'll be cleaned out, and then we can start putting our equipment up for sale. It seems to me like if we shut off taking stuff at the end of May, 2 months' time would be more than adequate to clean up over there. So that's kind of time schedule. I don't know when. Anything that we sell will go in an escrow account. And then when it's all said and done, then we'll divide it up. I think right now with what you guys budget or what you're paying now, I don't think, you may even save money this year even with what you're doing. See, next year you won't be paying any dues. That's $17,000. And your hauling expense,
Where's that called?
probably about even out with what you're paying now. You're paying $11,000 last year to haul it to Colby, and your dues are $17,400. I'd suggest maybe we try it.
So
See how
JR,
it works. We don't really have much choice.
JR, you're saying that we would buy a truck,
I
a
think down the road,
compactor trash truck?
I would think down the road. We actually have one that is not in use that the city had when we did our own trash service, that if we needed to do it right away, we could. Colby currently does this with a trash truck. So we have a way to test drive that way of doing it. Of course, I'm going to go see them before we do it, see how they go about the process of using the compaction truck. But yes, we potentially have a way to do it right now.
So we wouldn't sort plastic and,
Absolutely. In the collection space, you still collect it that way, because if you don't, I'm afraid you're going to have all kinds of trash. Colby currently does it in this way. They have their collection point for the public where everything is separated. And a little bit strangely so, they then take all this stuff and put it in the compaction truck to haul it to Stutzman.
whether it be all plastic or all,
Nope, it'll be
No.
mixed. It's any recyclable. Stutzman's a weird place. That's the way they want it. They won't take the clean product from Sunoco. That's the clean product is what they won't deal with.
so we're gonna sort then throw it back together.
Yes, because if you don't do that, I'm afraid you're going to see trash. I don't think, that's why we didn't want a single stream, because it's,
And by sorting it, I think
Little
it's what the public will actually be sorting it. Now, Bill up there, I don't know if it's gonna be worth
So-
looking through them and make them as clean as he has been.
well, and that's the problem, because if you don't sort it, even as it is, there's always some product in each one of the bins that doesn't belong there. If you start just saying, put your recyclables in this one big bin, you're going to have all kinds of trash. I know we have to collect it in that way.
It's not ideal, and it's not what I was gonna support.
Well, I thought you said you were gonna throw it together when
Well,
you deliver it.
Up until Friday, we were convinced that the cleaner way was going to be the way to go, but without them being able to get rid of it, it just, if he can't take it, we can't. We don't have a choice but to sing.
So how many ton can you compact in there?
I know Colby says they're doing 8 tons, so they make, I think, 12 trips a year. Ours would be 10 to 11 if we could get 8 tons. Now, the trash truck we currently have is a 20-yard. I don't know what they're running. When we were trying not to do the single stream as of Friday afternoon, I hadn't went and talked to them any further about the way they do it because we weren't going to suggest going that way. So this week, I will be in Colby to see how they do their entire operation. The city of Colby, this is.
So right now they figure $4 a loaded mile.
What's that?
$4 a loaded
That's
mile.
that's if we contract with Hill Trash. And what I'm talking about is either a county employee or a city employee gets in the city trash truck, we compact a load of it and haul it to Hutch. and back.
Dave will do it.
What's that?
Dave will do it.
We talked about it. Even after August, Lee?
It'll probably be once a month.
Just depending on how compacted we can get it. Because any other, this